Smith podcast. I'm joined here with Sonny. Oh wait, I gotta do it. Here's Sonny.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, buddies. What's going on?
How's it going, Sonny? Got some nice cool weather there so far.
It's pretty nice. 71.
All right. Well, we won't go too long to make sure that sun doesn't bake you out of the garage. The easy bake oven garage over there. And Spooky Morales, how are you doing?
What's happening, guys? How you doing today? I'm doing great.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I actually haven't even had any caffeine, and I'm still wide awake for some reason. So
I opened up 2 awesome gifts this morning, man.
Two awesome gifts? What'd you get?
Yeah, I opened my eyes.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, you can't get much better than that.
Nope. As long as you wake up, you're doing good. Well, guys, we've got an awesome guest today. We've got Jason Gleaves he's a UFO researcher and author. I also put his newest book is tagged at the top of the chat room. So if you go to the top, his link should be up there. Just click on that and check it out. It actually looks pretty cool. I'll bring it up during the show too, but just wanted to point that out that it is tagged at the top. So we're going to bring up Jason Gleaves for the first time. How's it going, Jason?
Hey.
Hi, guys. Hi. How are you doing?
Very good. Great to have you on.
Yeah. A pleasure. Delighted. I always love these types of podcasts because we can bounce UFO stuff around. So that's what we want.
Yep, absolutely. And YouTube gives us the ability to just share, a bunch of information, and but sometimes it doesn't like some of the stuff that we share. So it's not the most open platform. But yeah, it's a great place to hang out and share ideas. So what kind of stuff have you been working on with the I know that you've got a new book out, I just mentioned, and is that one of your only books, or?
No, that's the third book I've had out. What I actually do is analyze photographs for people worldwide. So they send me footage and videos and things like that of UFOs, and I'll actually analyze them. The first book I actually wrote was UFO Photo, where I actually show people how I analyze the UFO Photo. That was the first book out. And that's through Philip Mantle in the UK, through Flying Disc Press. And I basically go into basic UFO cases, famous and not so famous, and basically analyze the photographs of UFOs, like Chad Lake and things like that.
Oh, excellent.
More famous cases like the Battle over Los Angeles. So you've got the UFO that came over, which a lot of people saw. I'm trying to show you a photograph. Anyway, in there. But that's the first book. And then the second book I brought out was the UFOlogy Umbrella. And that's where I actually go in and explain to people the 7 separate categories of close encounters. A lot of people actually think it's just 1, 2, and 3. And then again, it goes on further than obviously Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which was off the movie. And I really explain because it goes into abductions and hybrids and, where people are actually injured, and some people have been killed by UFOs, military as well. And then the latest book, the UFO Encounters Up Close and Personal. And this book is really where I wanted to find out of ufologists, researchers, presenters worldwide, how they actually got into ufology, what actually dragged them into this mad world. And it was amazing, the people that got back to me, humbled by, with the information they've given me, the cases, whether it be personal or a case that's already been out, And it's a good read.
Excellent. So yeah, do you when you interview people or when you talk to people like that have those experiences, do you find that most of them, do they mostly trust you, or is it hard to get them to open up, or did they mostly come to you and have like a more open mind and like their have an ability to share their information with you?
It's really more because, it started when I was 7 years old, when I had a sighting of a UFO with my sister in the UK, played in Liverpool in the UK where I lived. And it was basically my sister and myself were playing upstairs in parents' house, and we both saw a silver disc-shaped object hovering outside the window, and it went on from there. It took off at high velocity, and then we just carried on playing as if nothing had happened. And I actually forgot about the incident only till much later, when my sister actually reminded me of what had happened. So whether that's missing time or something, we can put it down to. And then I've served in the Royal Air Force, and was involved in a pretty famous case that happened in the UK at RAF Cosford, here near Birmingham, Wolverhampton, which is central England. And it was in March of '93. And basically, it was late at night. RAF Cosford is a training camp, so it's a base where airmen do their basic training, and then they go on and learn a trade. So they're going to be an armourer or something like that in the Air Force. And part of their duties is to go on to do guard duties and all those type of extras on top. And this young airman was on the airfield guard post at the time. And in the guard room, one of my friends was the orderly corporal in the guard room house, where it's located more central in the base, and the RAF police and everybody else are present. And this radio just burst into life, and this young airman was screaming down the radio to get the guard commander out to the airfield because something was hovering over the airfield. So they all got in the Land Rovers, and then the RAF police and all the personnel went to the guard post. Upon arrival, they all witnessed the huge triangular-shaped craft hovering over the airfield, which was quite low over the airfield. And it was described to be the size of a battleship. It was huge in size. All witnessed, and it's all documented. It's all out there because the MOD actually released the papers, the official papers on it. So it's all out there. Everyone can read this, And the more interesting thing about this case is when it took off at high velocity, it went to another nearby RAF base, which is RAF Shawbury, which is about 20 miles as the bird flies from Cosford. And the on-duty air traffic controller actually got a reading from this craft and saw it for themselves, and it was actually firing very fine, thin wafer lasers down towards the ground. And the impression the air traffic controller got was it was actually looking for something. But later that night and earlier that night throughout the UK, it was also witnessed by on-duty policemen and members of the public. So it's quite, an important case within British ufology. And so that was really how I sort of became more involved in ufology. And then I'd started to go into analysing photographs, because obviously when we started in ufology and started researching, you had to go to a library or you bought a book, or, there was no internet then, so you couldn't find out the information we can find out today. And I grew on it, and I actually started to research famous cases and debunking cases that I thought were real. And then I had to start putting out my actual findings of research. So that's when I started the Facebook page, UFO Only. It's got quite a good following. I think there's about 23,000 people follow on there now. And anything I actually research or do, I put on there so everyone can see it. I've got a YouTube channel because obviously some of the videos I've actually produced are too big for Facebook, so I had to put them on there. And it sort of grew from there. And then people contact me constantly now from all around the world with images that they need analysing, or they just want to know what it is. And basically that's it.
Excellent, man. So I'm sure you've been pretty busy with the latest information, or the latest Calvine incident that the picture was released. I'm sure that you've had a lot of information, or a lot of people asking you about that picture.
Yeah, if you look on my site, I actually analysed the image because I managed to get hold of the original. So which I always ask everybody when I analyze images, I always try and ask for the most original print or original, part of that photograph so I can actually analyze it in more detail. Because if you send an image, say I send an image to you and then you send it on to Sunny and you send it on to Spooky, each time it's going to degrade and get less and less. So when you actually come in to analyze it, you're going to lose pixelation, things like that. So if you can get the most original print, going, you can get the best image. And the Calvine UFO incident, it looks like 30 years old, isn't it? It's over 30 years old. It's supposed to have been the famous picture that was on the back of the door in the British MOD X-Files. It's a great photograph. Apparently there were 6 photographs in total, all sent to the daily newspaper in Scotland. And again, of course, they went missing, as usual, what you expect. But David Clarke, UK ufologist, highly rated, really good researcher himself. And he actually managed to unearth the original photograph from an ex-military officer who retired. And the officer was told to actually get rid of that. Yeah, there you go. To get rid of the actual image. But he actually took a copy of the original. So, lucky enough, we've managed to get this, and that's why it's come out now. And it's just stirred up a lot of interest, which, it would do.
Oh, absolutely, because it's such a clear photo. People send in so many photos that have that are real blurry or might not really show exactly what people are describing, but this one stands out so much because it's so clear and it's very defined, and it has a great story behind it.
It's really clear. Yeah, it's really clear. It's got a great story, factual. We're still trying to find the original 2 people, the young lads who took the photographs. Mm-hmm. And you can see there clearly it's a Harrier jump jet from an RAF base in Scotland that's following. So obviously the Air Force were involved in the actual sighting and whether it was a secret covert craft, we don't know. I mean, that's why it's still classed as a UFO, because it's unidentified. Basically that's what unidentified is. Until you actually identify what it is, it'll always stay, unidentified.
So just as like a general, like the people that you've been talking to, do you think the general consensus is that is something from a different, celestial system or from outer space? Or do you think that, or do most people think that might be something that like the government was just working on and it's like a secret aircraft?
I think it's pretty open field on that. It again, even down to the sighting we had at Cosford, I still really think it could have been a secret covert craft. Not necessarily extraterrestrial in origin, just like this photograph. It was about the same time, and the one at Cosford was released about the same time as the Belgium flap. So where they had the Belgium Air Force actually tracked a triangular-shaped craft, but they literally put it out to the open public. They don't hide anything. It's pretty open on this photograph because it's unidentified. You're trying to actually. The Air Force didn't have anything in its fleet, that was recognizable to this craft. Whether the Americans did and they were flying it over here. That's what you've got to go down for your investigation, really, before you can actually say it's extraterrestrial in origin.
Right, and then you get this. I'm trying to pull this picture up here. Like right there where they released that photo, it says a series of UFO sightings occurred between November 89 and 90 in Belgium. Over 13,600 people spotted the unknown vessel being chased by 2 Belgian Air Force F-16s. So this one was released, and it actually shows the lights on the bottom that a lot of people describe.
That's it, yeah. It's pretty much what people actually, say that they've seen. I think I've got a model of a very similar type of thing. You know, that
Oh,
shape,
excellent.
triangular shaped. If you can see it closer.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
I do a lot of 3D models for people. So if they want something of a craft,
Mm-hmm.
that's that shape, you know. But around the 90s, that was the era for triangular shaped craft. Because you go through different decades, the craft have been obviously original from the original sightings, whether on film, you're talking of disc shaped, you know, and through different decades, they seem to change. Now, whether that's down to tech, military tech, that changes like aircraft do, we don't know. You know, you go right through elongated, cylindrical shaped, cigar shaped, people say, you know, and then you're probably leading more up to modern day. More people seem to be coming forward with orbs. We've seen a lot of orbs, an orb shaped craft, and whether they're multi-dimensional, we don't know, you know. So through the decades, it changes.
Yeah, it definitely does. There's actually the stories of the I can't think of the name of them, but those what were the winged things that people were seeing, and that it was like a basket that people were sitting in, and it was flying over, and then people were asking, like shouting down, asking for water. I can't remember what
Yeah.
those ones were called.
Yeah, again, there are so many. There's no one type of craft. There is literally every shape under the sun. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
work a lot with Peter Slattery in Australia through the ESETI Australia, and Peter has become a really good friend. And I class Peter in the top 1%, I would say, of sightings. And I'd advise anyone to actually go onto his website. He's linked with James Gilliland at the SETI Ranch, again, near Mount Adams. I've done a lot of work for both of them and people who actually attend their ranch. And if you see the footage that he's got, there's craft of all descriptions, shapes, sizes. And I joke with Peter because I say, you know, he goes to bed sleeping with his camera because he's always got his camera on him. But I recently did a documentary with him called Multidimensional, and that was with Mary Rodwell and James Gilliland and Peter. I think it's on Amazon Prime and iTunes and everything. And that's basically where we've got sightings, we've got ETs on there that he's actually photographed within his house, where they've manifested themselves in front. And I would, you know, he doesn't hide anything. He puts all his footage out there, and then there's actual footage I've actually analysed and put on for him there. So I think it's eseti.org if anybody wants to go and have a look.
Oh, okay. I just found a video on your YouTube channel. If you don't mind, if I could share it, it's the gimbal video that I think most people are familiar with.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed with the way that you did the video analysis, and I was just going to pull it up to see if we could ask a couple questions about it.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
this one right here. So most people are familiar with this gimbal photo or this gimbal video, but Jason here has a different. I don't really want to call it animation. This is just enhanced footage, right?
Yeah, yeah. Of just what was, you know, seen at the time and the characteristics, flight characteristics of the craft. I mean, you've got to remember this was actually seen in infrared at the time through the gimbal on the aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
And
So this is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's actually the flight characteristics of what was seen at the time of, you know, what was actually put out there.
Okay. Yeah, this is awesome the way that this is analyzed. It shows the FLIR angle, the F-18 speed, the UFO speed, the UFO distance in meters.
And we've also got to remember that, you know, this craft was going from sea level to about 80,000 feet within a second. You know, it was, it's nothing we've got at all that can do this.
Right. Yeah, and right there too. I mean, changing rotation during flight. You know, we don't really. I've never seen anything that we have that can do that.
No, nothing at all. I mean, remember, this has been followed by, you know, military aircraft that's flying, you know, trying to keep up with it.
Right. Yeah, just trying to keep up and catch up to it, and it just. This was, I can't remember. Is this also the one where it knew its location, its
Yeah.
sat point? Okay.
Yeah, so it knew where the pilot was going to be for his rendezvous, and it was waiting for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the technology is just obviously way above anything we've got worldwide.
Right. Yeah. It's something else. So when you do these enhanced videos, what type of software and stuff do you have to use to make those?
Just like anybody else, I never. It's not a secret at all or anything. I use Photoshop, etc., and I use it for the filters. I don't use it to change the footage, in respect of what it is. I use the filters, and when you can put a negative inverted filter. So it's a bit like a negative photograph. So if somebody sent me an image of a nighttime sighting, it's basically a light or a bunch of lights, etc. If you invert it and clean it up, you can actually bring it up better, and you can bring out more detail of what the object is and zoom in, and it plays into your hands a lot easier with that. I mean, there is another video on there which is a really good video, and I think I've had it on Paranormal Caught on Camera. They used it, and Japanese company have had it as well. And it was I was approached by an Argentinian pilot, and it's on my Facebook page. So if you look for it, the Argentinian pilot was buzzed by 2 UFOs, and I still say it's the best video out there. The story behind it really was, I was approached by him. He'd seen UFOs before. He was a civilian pilot flying his aircraft, and this time took his mobile phone up with him, which had a camera on, 2014, and he knew he was going to see UFOs again, and he did. And the two of them came in from his left-hand side. You can see the front of the cockpit. Out the view, you can see propeller going round. The cloud view is about 10,000 feet up. Very clear footage, and a huge elongated craft flies right in front of his aircraft, buzzes him basically, and then it's followed by a smaller craft following. Then it goes off to his right-hand side, continues into a formation, a figure of 8, comes back and buzzes again in close formation. But if you can find it on my YouTube channel, it's amazing piece of footage.
Yeah, I'm searching right now. Oh, right here. Argentine pilot surprised by 2 UFOs. Here we go.
Yeah.
I don't know why that took me so long. I'm over here typing Argentina and typing all kinds of stuff. Okay, here we go. Should I share the audio too, or?
Yeah, the audio doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's just basically music and the noise of the aircraft. But you can actually see, I'll try and explain as it started. And, I still think it is the best footage available. As you can see there, out the front view, see the first one? And then it's followed by a smaller aircraft. You'll see a smaller UFO follow. Any second now there. See it buzz. And then I actually slow it down and analyze them. But at the moment in time, they're actually doing a formation to his right-hand side, and you come back again. Now watch, you'll see again, they'll buzz in formation.
That is cool, man.
No military aircraft will do that at all because of the danger. It's so dangerous. But to do it twice, and you'll see it when I actually slow it down now. You'll see the footage better.
What in the world?
It was a huge craft.
That is great footage.
And you'll see the small. I mean, you can see why the TV companies wanted to use it, but it's had an awful lot of views. There's the smaller craft following.
Man.
And again, you'll see it again in the other direction.
They're looking down like, beep, beep, what's up, Slowpoke?
Yeah. And he'd had sightings before, but never had a camera with him. So here they come again in formation, close formation.
Oh, wow, that is unbelievable. That's great footage. I definitely agree with you.
I always say this. I always say to people, if it is great footage, which it is, people are going to take notice, But then you look at what the US military have released, how grainy and basically rubbish the footage is.
Mm-hmm.
When I know damn well that footage is HD, crystal clear, so why do they want to release really poor footage?
That's right. It's interesting that you can see the frame rate of the video just based on the propellers going by.
Yeah, that's it.
I noticed.
There's an awful lot of information there for people to see,
Yeah. I feel like I noticed a little right there. There's a little flash of light. Oh, now I screwed it up. Oh boy. Right there. Oh, I'm gonna have to go frame by frame.
I've seen that.
Mm.
I seen what you're talking about, Chad.
It's like a flash of light. Hold
Yep.
on, let me see if I can. It's gonna be like right here.
Right
Just
there.
popped out of the cloud.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I saw that too.
I'm gonna have
I've
to
never
put it
seen
in.
that before.
I'm gonna have to put it in really slow. Let's see.
I know.
Can't get the. All right, so I know it's right when it goes to the right. This is gonna be tough.
No, keep going. You got it.
Right there.
There it is. Yeah. And
Did it go back? Did it go back into that cloud, Chad, the same way?
No,
This
it
is
did. Those clouds were in the forefront. They were quite a way ahead. So they actually flew in front of the cloud.
Oh.
Yeah, I wonder if it came out of the. You've never seen that before, Jason?
No, I'll go back and look at that myself. But see, this is the great thing about the footage. You can put stuff out there, and people will come up with other things as well. That you. Yeah, I can see that now. Yeah.
This almost looks like it came from behind that cloud, came around like this, and then flew really fast in front of the plane.
Possibly could have. I'll go back and look at that again. But yeah,
that's interesting.
As you can see, it's really good footage.
And like you said, Chad, the frame rate of that camera is almost fast enough that you can catch that whole prop to where it would look like it's not spinning.
Yeah. But this is it. There's so many really good things in there that give great perspective within the video, like the cloud base, the propeller, things you can actually gauge distance and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, this is excellent footage.
It's had quite a few hits. I don't know how many hits it's had now, but it says on there. I'm not looking.
I was going to try to. Oh, I just saw another flash right here.
Oh, right. Okay.
There's a flash right here. Now let's see if. There it is again. It disappeared though. It was there and it came back.
There could have been more UFOs. Not necessarily just the two that were there.
Mm-hmm. Well, it kind of goes with this theory that sometimes people, like these crafts that we're seeing, might not actually be, they're craft to us, like physical objects to us, because that's what we perceive. That's what we can recognize. But there's a theory, and I'm sure a lot of people share it with me, is that these things are showing up as orbs, like as a light, like an what am I trying to say? Like a light being an orb, and like a ball of light, and then it goes from a ball of light to something that we can recognize, like a hard craft or a triangle or something like that.
Well, that's again that we were saying before about the different types of craft, the different shapes, etc. When I first started, and especially being ex-military, I would always, everything had to be nuts and bolts to me, literally. If it wasn't physically in front of you, that it wasn't real. Even though the very strange things that happened in coincidence with sightings and abductions, etc. Now I really do believe it's multidimensional. The craft, are coming through different dimensions. They're probably within the same dimension as us. I mean, the way I try to explain it to people is, if you look at yourself as basically like a radio and you pick up signals and frequencies, you're tuned in, like I'm tuned in now to your radio station. We pick up what we're seeing and everything within that one visual frequency, etc. But within the surrounding area, there are thousands of other radio stations that you can't physically see because you're not physically tuned into it. And it's the same with that. There's probably an awful lot going on around you that you don't realize.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've definitely thought the same thing, that there's a lot of stuff going on around us that just Wi-Fi signals. We know that Wi-Fi signals are all around us all the time. Radio signals, all that stuff is all around us all through the day and while we're sleeping, and we can't see any of that. So there's obviously stuff that we know is there that we can't see. So there must be stuff that we don't know is there that we can't see.
Yeah. And why do we all argue about it so much?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And when people approach me with photographs, they've either taken a photograph of a scene or of their family, and when they take the photograph, everything's normal. Then they go back later and look at the image they've taken, and within the image is a UFO, and they say, "Well, at the time I took the photograph, there was nothing there, but later it's within." So that camera has picked up something out of the electromagnetic spectrum. Our eyes can only see in a very, very short frequency, and outside of that frequency, we're talking radio waves and microwaves and infrared that we can't see, and the cameras can pick up those things that we can't, and that's why at the time you don't see a craft, but later when you're looking at the image, it's there.
Hey, Jason, one of my favorite UFO incidents is the famous Rendlesham Forest from the 80s. And I know you probably know a whole lot about it. One of the things about that case that I've never really been able to find the answers that I would love are the coordinates that were given to one of the officers there.
Jim,
I wondered if you know.
Burrow, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what info you might have on that.
Well, a couple of years ago, I actually got to meet Colonel Holt because he came over to the UK for one of the Outer Limits magazine's conferences, and he gave a brilliant talk, and he went through the entire story, of what happened through those 3 days. It's over 3 days, wasn't it, that the actual incident happened? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I really, really believe something was seen, by those guys, something they didn't know, something unrecognizable. They've tried to blame lighthouses, a lighthouse which was 5 miles away and you physically couldn't see it. They've tried to blame everything and anything on it, but it still goes on. Those coordinates that Jim had brought out, he said he'd had them from the beginning, but never released them, only till later. That puts slight doubt on them, because people will say, "Why didn't you release them early?" Which, yeah, fair enough. But Jim either didn't know what they were, etc. People have analysed them, and they've actually come up with the coordinates, and it's an actual place just off the Irish coast, I think, isn't it? The actual coordinates, and they're saying it's Atlantis and everything else. All other things are coming out. It's very strange that we can actually pinpoint and their actual coordinates, and he can still physically write them down to this day.
It's brilliant.
So, yeah, you come up with whatever theory or opinion you want, really. It's a bit like everything else, it's just an opinion, it's a theory. He's come out with it. Go out there and get go and do your own research. I say that to everybody, really. Don't take what I say as gospel or anybody else, because there are no experts in ufology. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody is brought along with it. I think that footage was sent to me that I analysed from John Hanson, ufologist, author in the UK. And he was actually out in Rendlesham Forest. This was later, and that was a craft that he actually videoed.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I've never seen this before.
No, I've got so much footage. I mean, even my personal archives, I've got over 100,000 UFO photos. Literally, and there's stuff from all over the world. There's obviously stuff that I don't think is real, faked, etc. But there's an awful lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, Jason, you've done a lot of work. Your YouTube channel is awesome. I mean, I just had to type in forest and I got tons of videos with the word forest in them. So, I mean, you've got a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah, well, people approach me with actual footage, and if they don't actually want to bring it out and forward it, etc., then I won't. But then, if I think it warrants to go out there, I will put it out there for people to see.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you had your own sightings? I see that this says my second CE5 orb-shaped sighting.
Yeah, I go out at night. Last night I went out and I think I saw about 6 UFOs.
Just last night?
Yeah, I go out whenever I can. The UK skies are not as graceful as yours. In the winter we don't see anything at night because it's cloudy, and like that one there. That's just one where I had a pair together. They show up. You literally go out, and if you want to see something, you will do. And you can actually see this one where they actually cross each other. They're not aircraft, because I do the investigation. I go in and actually eliminate any aircraft, civil aircraft. There's no strobe lights, there's no landing lights, etc. I go on and check the satellites paths. No satellites crossing at the time. That was about maybe about 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could go out every night and film the craft here.
Oh, this is cool. That you show you show that there's no aircraft in the area.
Yeah.
Right on the screen.
Yeah. Anyone can do this. Anybody can do this. It's not down to one person. If you're ready to go out there and actually see things, and the craft feel that you're ready to see it, you will see something.
Yeah, there's millions of people that want to see and want to also criticize those that do, but there's very few that actually go out and look up and spend the time.
Yeah. And generally, with those craft, etc., when I get to see them, I know something's going to happen, because just before it, you'll generally see a shooting star or something that will come down right ahead.
So true.
And then, and then I had 2 civilian aircraft as well with the strobe lights. So, it's blatantly obvious when you go out and you can see them. And it's brilliant. You get a brilliant feeling when you see these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that a lot before, that you actually feel like some people will say that they feel like that is meant for them to see, like it's there for them to see and for them to pick up the message.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting.
But there's so much fun. I mean, there's stuff on there. There's actual documentaries I've made on there that you can watch. They're like an hour long or something, and it goes over the route races of ETs, and I've done a couple of documentaries that have been released. I've done the Pentagon Files. That was the last one I did with the UK ufologists talking about Tic Tac, etc. But these are others that I've actually done with actual footage, so stuff around the moon. You'll see bases, the satellites, and space stations around the moon on the far side. Things on Mars. There's literally all kinds in there, because ufology is like that. It's literally, you open one door, but 5 doors will open, and you'll go off in all different directions.
Hey, Jason, sorry. I was going to ask you, what's your favorite footage or pictures where you can actually see beings looking outside the craft, looking at you? I know there's a couple that are circulating regularly. They won't go away, especially the ones from Turkey, the Turkey video.
That is a good one.
And then also the Dorothy Izat one from her documentary.
Yeah. There's literally so many. Like I said, Peter Slattery in Australia and James Gilliland, in the SETI Ranch. If you go and look at their footage, they've actually got beings in the house. There's one where I analysed for Peter, and we were talking, and he said there's footprints. I can hear footprints going across the roof of where he was living. He says, just hang on. He went outside, took a photograph, and you'll see it in there. I've got it somewhere, the actual footage of his truck parked outside, and there's a grey ET standing behind the truck. But the good thing about this is I actually analysed where he set up a motion camera in his house, where he's getting beings, etc. And there's one where there's an alien grey popping around the corner of the house like that in his living room, and you can see it blinking and everything. But when I got a freeze frame of that footage and the one outside his house, and basically just a basic overlay of the two images, they were the same being. So there's an awful lot. Then he's got the Nordics. Then there's the one at the SETI Ranch that are actually, there's literally so much on there. And at the minute, I'm actually working with Calvin Parker, from Pascagoula, Mississippi, the Pascagoula UFO incident where there was Charlie Hickson and himself, Calvin Parker. They were abducted while they were fishing. And I've been Skyping with him, and it's taken it a year. I think we're doing it a year now. There's a writer in the States, Martin Powell, who actually normally does Batman and Superman comics, and we're doing a graphic novel of his life that's going to be out next year. I think I might have there's a couple of where I've been doing his entire life, going through the abduction, etc. There's stuff like this, and that'll be out next year. But I've done a frame. A bit like a police e-fit, because when he was taken on board, before he was taken on board, I should say, the craft, these beings, he calls them the ugly ones. That's a 3D print I've done in conjunction with him of the beings that abducted him in Pascagoula in the early 70s. And I've actually done this e-fit. When he was taken on board, he had the interaction with the female ET on board, and nobody had ever seen the female ET before. So obviously, with no photographs, etc., of it, we had to do an illustration. I don't know if you can see on that poster up there is a picture of the female ET, and it's identical to what he saw, because I've done it basically a breakdown of the facial features with him, the eyes, the nose, and made sure everything is the same, and that's what he came back with.
Wow, that's awesome. I was actually going to ask about that. It almost looks like Sasquatch on that picture back there.
It's not painted yet, but that's where it's printed 3D. But when he was taken on board, he got obviously the pointed nose and the ears, and the clawed hands. But he had a sort of elephant-like skin texture to the skin. But there was 3 of these that actually abducted him, and Charlie took him on board. But since then, in conjunction, Philip Mantle in the UK ufologist, has wrote books with Calvin and brought them out, all the details of his story. And since then, there's been more witnesses that have come forward. There were people on the other side of the river, the Mississippi River at the time, who actually saw the same beings that came over. And they said they were abducted as well at the time. And, there's so much more come out and come with the story.
Hey, Jason, I wanted to bring up those pictures that you were talking about at the Study Ranch. I can't find it. Did you say those were on your YouTube channel?
They are, and they're also on the eseti.org. So if you go eseti.org,
eseti.org.
James, Australia as well, I think.
eseti.org.
I've never been there before.
I've never been there.
It's a real hot spot for UFO. A lot of famous people go there to see UFOs, like Dan Aykroyd. People like that will go there. And Robbie Williams.
Doesn't work for me.
They've all.
Yeah, when I type in, wait, let me see if this is it, eseti.org. Okay, I don't know why that wasn't working. If you just type in eseti.org, it takes you to some other...
I was
Here, I'll
spelling
put
it
it in the
wrong, I
chat.
think.
Or James Gilliland, UFOs, or Peter Slattery, his YouTube page might bring them up. But there's so much footage on there.
That's a great website too.
Yeah, this looks
Yeah.
sweet.
Very, very professional.
James Gillian. About James Gillian. Branch information. I'm trying to find.
You should have a
first
bit
time-
there. Videos.
Photos.
Oh, okay, right here. Photos and videos. Boom, boom, boom. We're getting there. Sorry. Yeah, it just sounded so interesting. I wanted to check it out. Oh, okay, there's a lot of stuff on here. Nice.
And I did a documentary with him a few years back. I think it was called Contact Has Begun. Yeah, a lot
Contact
of
Has
stuff there
Begun.
I've actually done for him.
Oh,
And
so
he's
this
got
is all your work.
multiple UFOs, orbs. Yeah, there's a lot I've actually done for him over the years. If you just click on them, you'll see the ships actually powering up. So you'll see the orbs, similar to like I showed you with mine, but you'll see the actual craft power up. It'll go very bright and then dim down, and that's a CE5 contact.
Oh, yep, right there. I
Yeah,
just saw it.
there's better than that. You'll see. I think it actually is brighter, but they got the laser pen around it, and then it actually contacts back. But again, there's no strobe lights, no aircraft lights, nothing on there to distinguish it. There you go.
Wow.
So
Oh,
when they
yeah.
do that with you, and anyone can go out and do this. Anyone.
Oh man, that is amazing. Yeah, those are
So they
definitely not.
actually the contact back with it, that's classed as a CE5. So
I could just watch this stuff all day because those aren't FAA landing lights or anything like that. There's no particular.
no, definitely not.
Yeah, there's no particular rhythm to it. It's just like letting you know, like, hey, we're talking, we're communicating.
Yeah, communication back. Yeah, but
That
there
is
are
nuts.
so many things. If you go on the Peter Slattery webpage, the same, which is bseti.org. I think it's Australia, and there's an awful lot, but there's the ETs on there as well, and the footage is there with the ET putting its head around the corner, and just knock me for six. When I get them off him, I'd like, wow. You're going to get something special when he sends you, a piece of footage or an image.
Yeah.
You got that site, Chad?
No, I don't see that one. How do you? Let's see.
If you just put
Jason, how
Peter
did you-
Slattery,
What is it?
just have a look, see if I can find it myself for you.
Yeah, if you could drop it in the private chat, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking here too. Don't see that one though.
Bear with me, guys. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a
this
lot
is
of good
excellent.
stuff. If you just
That's
go on
excellent,
to Google and put Peter Slattery UFO, you'll come up with his actual. There is a documentary I've done about him on my YouTube channel, and you can actually see in that.
On your YouTube channel, it was. Oh, I think we lost Jason. I think Jason was looking up some UFO stuff and maybe Wi-Fi cut out.
I went
I
off.
think he's
Did
pausing
you
a little.
lose me then?
Oh yeah, I lost you
Okay.
for a second. You're back now.
Yeah. It's probably because we're looking at Peter's stuff. This happens a lot as well. You get the interference.
We've encountered stuff like that. We had a old co-host, and he used to work at Lockheed Martin. I could say that now. And somebody was here with me in the shop here, and he asked, how come we can't talk about where this guy works that's on camera? And, where's he work? And I said, hold on. And I leaned way back like this to him, And I leaned over and went like this. And when I went to tell him, my whole camera and computer just shut off. And
Yeah.
I lost the mic and everything. And I was looking at everybody else like, what the fuck? I just went black. And when I leaned back forward to do something, it turned back on. And I was like, oh, that was strange. It was only while I was talking about that place that it shut off. I was like, yeah,
this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
The only good way of looking at that is if that happens to you, you're doing something right. Because they don't.
That's what we said. They're watching.
That's the only way to look at it. Yeah. Have you found the webpage or anything? If you go on YouTube and just put Peter Slattery, he puts all of his stuff out there. So.
Oh, okay. I might have found it here on the Australia. It says East Study Australia Facebook page.
Could be, yeah.
Let's see if this is it.
But you'll actually see the ETs and everything, as well as the different types of craft that he photographs, and yeah.
Oh yeah, he has his own YouTube channel.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're just looking for. Let's see. I'll bring this up. Yeah, sorry we're taking so long. I just wanted to really make sure we found that.
That's the documentary we did as well, the multi-dimensional.
Is this the video here, the Paranormal Activity High Strangeness video?
It's just one of many that he sent to me. I think that was an orb in his living room. Actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a short one that he actually sent me.
But then the one that you were talking about with the beings in the room.
Yeah, if you scroll down, it'll probably say one of them. Probably one of his earlier ones.
Okay. Because this is really interesting stuff. Alien captured on camera. Maybe this is it.
Might be the one.
There's a description.
Now this is the one outside his that he photographed outside his house.
What in the world? Hey, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, and he'd just run over his roof just prior to that.
Okie dokie. That was totally. I mean, you couldn't get much clearer. This photo was taken. Let me go back. This photo was taken by Peter Maxwell Slattery on the 13th of October, 2020. Pretty recent. After what sounded like something walking on the roof and then outside of the dwelling, Peter immediately went outside to investigate and took photos of the area. This is what he captured on one of the photos. Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah. And he's got lots, there's lots of, beings, different types of beings, light beings, and the craft, all different shapes. You just have to just click on any of them. There's one there with an actual disc shape that was hovering above outside. You can see that, yeah. Literally outside.
That is very clear too.
Yeah, man, it's in the top 1%. Literally top 1% in the world, I would put him.
August 31st, 2020, near Mount Buffalo, Victoria, Australia. The photo was taken, or has been analyzed by image analysis expert Jason Gleaves, who we happen to have right here. Also, this was remote viewed by John Vivanco's team. It's found to be authentic. Wow, look at that.
Tell that to Mick West.
Man, that's so interesting. Let's see.
He's just got so many, literally,
Yeah, I'm going to drop his link in the chat, and I also subscribed. Thank you for showing him to me. I actually didn't know about him.
No, honestly, it's you'll see some really, really good. You should have him on as a guest as well, really,
Absolutely. That'd be so much fun.
He's got so much information.
Let's bring this one up too. Let's see if we can. This one's called Real Alien.
This is the one in the house. So you'll see. I'll explain it to you now and then. That's in his living room forward. So that's the type of grey you'll see the eyes. You have to watch closely because it's not 100% clear. I do clear it up late. See it looking there within the red circle. So watch, I'll change the actual. You'll see the eyes more than anything, and you'll see it blink.
Wow.
See it popping its.
It's the motions are so funny.
See it blinking?
Yeah.
I'll do a different camera filter on it as well. But yeah, and I actually overlaid that image with the one outside the car, and it's the same type of being.
Wow, that's cool. The image or the motion that it makes is so funny because it's almost like it's like a childish motion. Like, am I supposed to be here? Nope, I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, being caught. He did say they're very curious and nosy, and he also said that they raid his fridge for the cheese and milk and dairy products.
Damn it!
And that,
I knew I had cheddar in here.
Do you know the Spielberg film E.T., the extraterrestrial?
Right here.
The actual film he made. Yeah. Well, that's weird, yeah, because did you notice in the film where E.T. goes raids the fridge?
Yes.
And he said that is literally what they do. They go for the dairy products.
Wow.
You notice, Jason, that's us. That's us on the bikes, right?
Yeah, that's me in the front.
Yeah.
It's spooky.
Yeah. But that's the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
You can get yours at that one time I was abducted by aliens.com. Yeah, man, these are awesome videos. I'm so glad that I found this channel.
Yeah, and James has got quite a lot of stuff as well on his, the same. But the beings that have, they manifest themselves literally. The amount of photographs I've got of beings that people have sent, and there are some that are real obvious that they're not that good. But the ones where the orbs are actually manifesting themselves into the shape of a being, and it's when you go into the facial features and I analyze the photograph. Yeah, I haven't got it on me at the minute. The if you go on my YouTube channel and just put lioness or lion the being or something, it'll probably come up because it will be on there.
Okay.
But it's actually got lioness facial features, which is the Lyrans, the Lyran beings.
Oh, right.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience while we bring up these pictures and videos. I mean, the reason why I think it's so important that we bring these up is because we're not really seeing these on UFO Twitter and on other podcasts that, supposedly, believe in UFOs and aliens. So I think it's really kind of exclusive. Jason, you're bringing some awesome stuff, man. Thank you.
For our podcast listeners, if you want to come check out these pictures, you can always come back and watch the show on YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, this is all being shown on YouTube.
This is the thing about ufology, and I've always been under the same impression and same thing through ufology is it's there for everybody. It shouldn't be there through you have to pay to have things analysed. If people want, I don't charge anybody to analyse photographs. I'll do it for them and then I'll give it back to them. What they do with it is up to them if they want to put it public or not. If not, then it stays under, their own personalised collection. It's what it should be. It literally should be out there for every single person, regardless of.
It is out there, like because of people like you, Jason, and Peter. But so many people don't want to accept it. People on UFO Twitter and around the world and on these podcasts are still trying to debate if there's even UFOs or things in the sky that we can't account for. But I would think we might be at the next stage now to where rather than debating about UFOs and asking the government to tell us what they know, wouldn't you want to be more interested in what's actually flying these UFOs? What are these images we're seeing? I mean, I would think the beings, the life entities that we're seeing would be much more fascinating that we'd want to know about.
Yeah. And again, that's one question people approach me all the time about disclosure and people wanting disclosure and things like that. I'm sorry, disclosure's already happened. It happened a long time ago. Yeah, it's here, and it just goes to show the wealth of images, of beings, craft, etc. And people that have been abducted, they've come forward with their story under ridicule and everything else. It's out there for everybody there. Disclosure's here. We've got to start looking past now, waiting for the government to come forward to tell you that ETs exist when they already, we already, everybody listening to this show, everybody watching it, everybody related to ufology around the world knows that disclosure has already happened. So for the government to, especially the US government, to come out with this drip feed effect, slowly saying, well, we're doing this, we're setting up Space Force, it's already happened.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, we're definitely going to have you back on, and we'll have to look into and see if we can contact Peter. That would be so cool to have Peter on. Maybe both of you guys together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be a 2-hour show.
Because Peter, just the information Peter will tell you is amazing. Never mind the images and the footage he's got to back it up. And I would say anybody go on my YouTube channel and check out the documentary I did on Peter, and it shows you all the craft that he's photographed and I've analysed, and the beings, and basically it's there for everybody.
Right on, brother.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Jason, and we will be in contact.
Yeah, definitely need to have you back on, man.
Thanks for the invite, and I've really enjoyed it.
No problem. Take care, buddy.
And you.
Have a good day.
Yes.
Another good one.
Spooky. Sunny. That was awesome.
I have so much more I would talk to that guy about. I mean, we didn't even talk about
I didn't even get to ask no
experiencers.
questions. I mean,
oh man, he is a wealth of knowledge. We've got to talk more to that guy and his colleague.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting those both on together would be awesome.
Man, his YouTube channel's awesome.
Yeah.
And then,
that was stuff.
He said he was in the military, I think, back in, it must have been March of 93, that incident he was talking about. I put it in private chat. I wasn't for sure. I was going to ask him if that's when that was.
Oh, whoops.
I think it was. After he was talking about it, I was reading along with it, and it was...
The same time that he was in the military?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these 1-hour shows, I'm telling you, we just don't get enough time to ask them all the stuff we want to ask them.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I get warmed up, we're already halfway through the show.
When it cools off, like you said, we'll be able to, because it's already heating up here. It's already up to 80.
Yeah, guys,
so
we were
nice and cool to hot already.
We were talking about that last night. The reason why these shows are 1 hour right now is just because, for one, the heat is killing us, and I've been put on 10-hour days at work, so the heat at work plus being there for 10 hours and all that stuff and trying to organize all this, it's kind of a lot. So we're just going to stick with the 1 hours for a little while, but definitely have plans on going back to 2 hour and the longer formats.
And thank everybody. Thank you guys so much for all the birthday wishes. I seen them all. I just I couldn't interrupt. But Thank you guys so much. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow night on the Chop Shop with us all. And Cassie, thank you. Guys, I got an early birthday present from Cassie. She sent me $100 last night for my birthday.
What?
Yeah.
Cassie. That's awesome. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah. Make sure you guys are hanging out with us tomorrow on the Chop Shop. I was going to say, I don't know. I'll see if I can call into work. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'll write you a note, man.
I need to be there for Sonny's birthday.
I told you, it's my birthday, and I want you there naked in a pair of them Chad Smith panties from Toddy Waba.
All right, man. I'll have to ask about a personal day tomorrow.
We'll get some views then. What are you looking at, Spooky? You're going to be wearing the same thing.
Birthday suits all around.
That's
That'll
right.
get some views.
My birthday, I want everyone naked.
It's gonna take me the next 24 hours just to do the proper manscaping for that.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, Connor gonna be trying to tackle me down as the next Bigfoot.
Oh my lord. The next Bigfoot. Oh man. All right. Well, let's see if I don't know. You guys, let us know in the comments too if you like the intro. I'm trying to switch some stuff up with the beginning of the show. So
That was so awesome how you did it. They came in and did the same way.
yeah, because I didn't know what to say. I'm like, well, the beginning's kind of changed up, but I still don't know what to say. I gotta practice, guys. Gotta do some practicing.
We'll get it.
But yeah, thanks everybody for being here, and make sure to hang out with us tomorrow for the Chop Shop. We're gonna be celebrating Sonny's birthday, and we don't really have any plans for that yet, but we're just gonna have everybody hanging out and saying happy birthday and giving Sonny a bunch of money. So make sure you hang out with us there.
If I'm making enough money, D said she's taking me to Pismo for dinner.
Nice.
Yeah, see?
Nice.
We just got to rake in the cash, and then Sonny can have a really good birthday dinner.
Maybe even more than that, I'm going to see Spooky.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Whale's vagina.
Oh, my God.
That is what that means,
Whale's
right?
Vagina.
Well, that's an
Santiago.
interpretation.
Santiago. Does mean whale's vagina.
Santiago. All right, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Chop Shop. Peace.